What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Tuesday night virtual experience. And I am grateful to be here with you for a life study, virtual life study, and just honored that you have tuned in to share with us. Listen, I got another powerful message tonight that I'm going to share with you that will probably be the beginning of a series. I'm pretty sure of it. Because one of the things that I've discovered in especially a lot of the personal and professional coaching that I do is that people tend to make their lives 10 times harder than what it has to be. For all of you saved, churchy folks, there's an old hymn that said, "Oh, what needless pains we bear." That makes sense to you. For those of you that are non-churchy, it's just as simple as understanding that oftentimes people take life and make life 10 times harder than what it needs to be. And there's a couple of clear reasons why people do that. And I'm going to give you 5 of these reasons why people really make everything so hard in their life. And I know I ain't going to get through all 5 tonight. I'm not going to get through all 5 of these reasons why people make life so hard for them. So that's how I know this is going to be a series. But I'm going to open up some wounds tonight. I know it. And it's going to be interesting. So let's get into the conversation. Let me walk through the networks really quickly. If you're on any of our networks, make sure you jump in the chat area, say good evening, let us know that you're here, that you tune in, and then go ahead and start hitting that @ symbol and think about all of your friends that you can think about who need to hear a message, a word like this tonight. Stop making everything so hard is what we're going to talk about. And this is going to be powerful. And again, if you're saying good evening on all of our networks, good evening to you. Starting to see people speaking in, and I try to speak as much as I can as to as many comments as I can. But make sure you go ahead and say good evening. But this is going to be powerful tonight. Stop making everything so hard. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. This is going to be powerful. You're going to be glad you saved this one. Every time I say it, it's always more than what we think it is. All right, so let's go through it. Facebook, good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in virtually on Facebook, it's good to see you virtually this morning. If you have not already, make sure you say good evening in the chat area. Throw up some hands, some emojis. I see you, Miss Riley. Thank you for doing that. Say good evening in the chat area. And then do me a favor. I want you to like this video. If you're on Facebook, like this video. If you really like our broadcast and enjoy our ministry, hit the like button, hold it down, turn it to a love button, and then hit that share button. And I want you to tag 5 people and tell them to tune in. Do it quickly. Tag 5 people, tell them to tune in because this is going to be a very powerful message. And I'm excited to be able to share it with you. All right. So good evening, Facebook. Those of you that are tuned in via Facebook, it is good to see you virtually. Let's get our Facebook number climbing really quickly. So if you have not already, start tagging people and tell them to tune in right now. Instagram, good evening to you. Instagram is rolling already. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you that are tuned in via Instagram, make sure you say good evening in the chat area if you have not already. And then also, if you're on Instagram, fill it up with hearts. Let me see some hearts there. Let me know that you're present and that you're attentive and paying attention. This is going to be a very powerful lesson that I'm going to teach tonight. And then if you're on Instagram, also thirdly, hit that @ symbol. I want you to tag 5 of your friends and tell them to tune in. We are talking from the subject tonight. Stop making everything so hard. Stop making everything so hard. And this is going to be a powerful message. And I'm telling you, tonight, I'm coming for next. I'm coming for next tonight. It's going to be a very candid conversation. I'm going to give you 5 ways that people make their lives so much harder than what they have to be. And again, I know we saw it in the post for the flyer on the word trigger with the emoji. I thought that was so funny, but it's the truth. Some of you might get triggered tonight. I'm just going to warn you. Some of you might get triggered tonight, but it's not our intention to harm you. It's our intention to challenge you. One of the things that you will learn in tuning into the Rehab Christian Center is we give you messages that are candid, but we also give you messages that challenge you. You're going to be challenged tonight. So again, I'm going to give you 5 ways that most people make their lives harder than what it needs to be. And we're talking from the subject, stop making everything so hard. All right. Start tagging people right now. Let me go through one more network. YouTube. Good. I was about to say good morning. Good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. for joining us. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is for everyone. You can find us on YouTube by going to the search bar and typing in the Rehab CC, the Rehab CC. That's the Rehab CC. You can tune in there, and you can tune in not only via YouTube, but you can go back and check an archive of all of our messages there. And I would highly recommend it. There are literally tens and tens of messages there that you can go back and check out that we know will be a blessing to you, including this one, which we believe will be the beginning of the series. So make sure if you have not subscribed to us on YouTube, do that right away at the Rehab CC. If you are on YouTube, make sure you say good evening in the chat area. Make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and then hit that bell notification icon so that you can be notified of when we go live in the future. Again, let's get into this. Tonight, we're talking from the subject, stop making everything so hard, right? Stop making everything so hard. And I'm going to give you 5 ways that people historically make things so hard, all right? And we're going to come out the gate swinging. Before I do that, let me say this. One of the reasons why, and this is probably your first PowerPoint that you can record in the notes. If this is your first time tuning in, we take notes in the chat area so that people watching the replay can follow along and just focus on what's being said. One of the things that really challenges people, frankly, when it comes to making their lives much harder than what it is just this very simple concept, and that is we think that simple is boring. We think that simple is boring. We think that simple is not enough. And one of the things that I'm discovering as I get a little bit older is that a simple life is a beautiful life, right? I want you to record this. This is going to be real practical tonight and throughout the whole series. I already know a series is coming. A simple life is a beautiful life. It ain't a boring life. Life is a beautiful life. Now, my research, I've got a real PhD, and my research, dissertation research, was on generational studies. And so I understand well the differences in perspectives as it relates to age differences, right? Depending on how old you are and what generation you belong to may determine how you see what's beautiful and what's boring. But I'm here to tell you, regardless of that, a simple life is a beautiful life. And I can be honest with you, when I was younger, teenager, young, early 20s, I a lot of times would associate non-eventful with boring. And again, I'm making sure I'm making sure that I'm wording this right. I would associate non-eventful with boring, and I'm here to tell you, simplicity is a beautiful thing. Non-eventful, non-drama is a beautiful thing. And so one of the things I want to challenge all of you to do is take a look at your life and identify ways in your life in which you can simplify your life. All right. This is very practical. I want you to record this. Look at your life. Take a hard look at your life and ask yourself, what are some practical ways in which I can take my life and simplify my life? Simplify it, because I'm here to tell you, in the age of supersizing everything, adding on to everything, upgrading everything, downsizing, simplifying is the new upgrade. I want to say it again. Simplifying, downsizing is the new upgrade. It's the wave of the future. The reality is that while this younger generation oftentimes sees simplicity as boring, here's the flip side of that. From a mental capacity standpoint, and the research approves this. So this ain't some random theory I'm pulling out of the air. I can give you some research if you need to do some reading. The research supports the fact that while this younger generation may see simple as boring, on the flip side, the younger generation is challenged with being able to manage multiple things in their lives. They're challenged with being able to manage multiple things in their lives. And so you see a generation of younger people who have more access to information and more access to opportunities and more access to a larger network through social media and other networks and more access to just information in general, but are quick to be mentally burned out and drained out because while they have access to more, they don't have the mental and emotional capacity to handle more. Is this making sense? And so it would behoove all of us, regardless of age, to understand that sometimes a beautiful life is taking the complexities of your life and simplifying the complexities of your life so that you can manage the things that are in your life. I'm telling you what I know. We rag on older people. We rag on our grandmothers and grandfathers and great grandmothers and great grandfathers because they don't know things about a cell phone. They don't know things about technology and information. They don't know things about all of those things. But let me tell you what they could do. They could multitask. They could multitask in a minute. They could manage working multiple jobs, raising a family, sending kids off to school, doing whatever else that they did, and they didn't miss a beat because mentally and emotionally they had the capacity. They were built to be able to, while they had a lot of things going on, keep life simple: work, home, family, maybe church, whatever, and that's it. Right? Technology wasn't as prevalent there. And so the introduction of more things to distract or the introduction of more things to complicate was not a factor. Let me give you young people an example that makes sense, because that probably doesn't make sense. And if it does, you may not want to receive it. Let me give you an example that makes maybe a little bit more sense. The reason why, yeah, their relationships had drama. Yeah, their marriages had drama. Yeah, there was cheating going on in their marriages. Yeah, there was cheating going on in their relationships. But let me tell you something. The reason why a lot of their relationships were a little bit more simple and more smooth than today, because they had to worry about nobody being in their DMs. They had less to manage. It wasn't as complicated. Dating for them wasn't that complicated. They didn't have a lot of choices. They have a lot of options. They have a lot of people and a lot of things coming at them in so many different ways. And so they were able then to simplify the palette, right? And so again, I'm not suggesting to you that if you're going to date people, just shut down your social media, you're going to be married, shut down. I'm not saying that. Catch the larger point. You got to be able to live in the 21st century with a 19th century mentality. Listen to me. If you're going to live if you're going to live an easy life, a life that is not overcomplicated and over difficult, you've got to live in the 21st century with a 19th century mentality. And that's worth recording, meaning you are able to manage everything that you have access to that is available to you, but you are able to simplify it so that life and everything that comes with it doesn't overwhelm you. Right? I know this is highly academic tonight, but bear with me, it's going to get worse. So that you're able to simplify the palette, the life palette, right? When I say the palette, I'm referring to your life palette. You're able to simplify the life palette that you have, and that you don't allow life to get so complicated that it overwhelms you. I can't tell you, I work with young people for a living. It's one of my occupations, one of my many jobs. And one of those jobs is working and coaching, developing young people. And I can't tell you the number of young people today who are just completely overwhelmed with life. And the reality is, and this is not to minimize what people go through, so don't misunderstand me. I'm not minimizing what people go through, but here's the reality. When you look at what a lot of our 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24-year-olds are dealing with, that they are overwhelmed by, and you compare that to what our 70, 80, 90-year-old grand and great grandparents had to deal with and manage, and they were never mentally overwhelmed, here's the common denominator. The difference is they were able to take their life. They didn't have access to a lot of the junk that we have access to, and they were able to simplify the palette. And so my challenge to all of you, before I get into way number one of why people make their lives overcomplicated, let me just challenge all of you to do this. I want you to take a look at your life over the next 30 days and ask yourself, in what ways can I simplify the palette? Do I really have to have 30 friends? This is about to get good. Do I have to have 30 friends? Do I really have to talk for 4 hours every day? You overwhelmed because not only you trying to manage your problems, you're trying to manage everybody else's problems. You trying to be Dr. Phil and Oprah to everybody in your circle, and you got a whole laundry list of problems yourself that you ain't solved. And so maybe you're overwhelmed, not because you're a bad person, or maybe you're overwhelmed not because you have your own problems. Maybe you're overwhelmed because you ain't spending enough time with your problems, and you're spending as much time with everybody else's problems. Simplify the palette. Simplify the palette. Ask yourself, how much time am I spending in spaces that's commanding my time, that's commanding my attention, that's commanding my influence, that's commanding my authority, that's commanding my attention? How much time am I spending in those spaces? And then how is my time in those spaces impacting the way I see my life, how difficult my life is? Let me tell y'all something. I know y'all don't like when I talk about this, but I'm going to just tell you anyway, and you're going to hear it for the 100th time. When Pastor shuts his phone off and shuts off social media for 30 days, it's a beautiful thing. I challenge Rehab every year to come up with a word for the year. What's your word, right? We come up with this word. The first 2 weeks in January, we do our vision board party every January. And I always challenge members of Rehab. What is going to be the focus word for the year, right? And probably one of the best words that I've ever chosen was the word simplicity. And during that year, when I chose the word simplicity as the word that I was going to focus on, what I literally did that year was take a look at my life, and I collapsed it. And everything in my life that was in excess, that was not necessary, it was or eliminated. Because the beautiful thing about living in simplicity is that when you have less to manage, you got less to get on your nerves. When you have less people to manage, I'm trying to help you. When you have people to manage, you have less people to get on your nerves. When you have less people who have access to you, unlimited access with no boundaries, you have less people to get on your nerves. You have less things to stress you out. And so I want to challenge all of you to think about your life over the next 30 days and ask yourself, how can I simplify the palette? How? For some of you, it may mean getting off of social media, taking a 30-day social media break. So, because your feed is complicating your life. You're so busy in what everybody else got going on and folk tagging you and all kinds of stuff and in everybody else's drama. And some of you are creating your own drama that you can't even focus on your life because of that stuff. And you guys know how I feel about social media. I'm pro social media. I love social media. But what I am is anti letting social media run your life. It shouldn't run your life. And if it's complicating your life, whether it's complicating your life through your inbox or complicating your life through you just spending more time being nosy and paying attention to what everybody else is doing and not yourself, minimize social media so that you can maximize the simplicity in your life. Because I'm telling y'all, when I take my quarterly social media breaks, y'all have noticed that probably over the last year. I do it about 3 or 4 times a year where I shut down social media. Where Dr. Zeb at? I ain't going nowhere. I just took a break from y'all. And I don't even be on social media for drama. But I can imagine those that be on there for the drama, what your mind has to think about, like how complicated your life can sometimes be. And I'm just telling you, if you really want to minimize the complexity in your life, do whatever it takes to simplify your life. And that includes taking a social media break. Power your phone off when you go to dinner. I ain't even gotten to the ways, y'all, but I'm trying to help y'all. When you go to dinner, you at a dinner party, whether you're at a dinner with your kids, dinner with your spouse, dinner with your mate, or you're out at brunch on Sundays. If you're at brunch on Sundays with your friends and y'all sitting at a nice spot and y'all eating brunch and drinking mimosas, cut your phone off. Now, get your selfies in. I get it. We all like a good brunch selfie, pastor included. Get you a nice selfie. That's great. Let somebody take it, one of your friends take it, whatever, the restaurant, get that. And then when you get it and you post it, whenever you post it, cut your phone off. You'd be amazed at just how more meaningful a meal is without hearing alerts on your phone. And some of y'all don't understand this because your phone dry, so it don't make sense to you. But those of you that have very active phones through social media, texting, people reaching out, all of that stuff, let me tell you something. Ain't nothing more beautiful and simple than your phone making no noise. And I know that's a foreign concept for so many people, but hear what I'm saying and hear me in love. I'm keeping it 100 with you, but hear me in love. When we talk about simplifying our lives, there's some very easy, simple things we can do to make sure that our life isn't as hard or as complicated as we think it is. You stressed out because your family members worrying you to death with their drama. They giving you drama on your phone. You can't even work during the day because your cousins and your aunts and your uncles and your mama and all of these people hitting you up with all this family. You in the group chat, they going all in the group chat about all the family drama, and you trying to concentrate on your work, but you can't because of the argument that's going on in the group chat, the family group chat. You can resolve all of that. Go to them and cut it off. I know y'all don't like my teaching. I'm talking how we make life so hard. Stop. You can fix it by setting proper boundaries in your life. And sometimes you have to put a boundary around technology. That's another nugget you probably want to record. Sometimes, yeah, we put boundaries on people. Now, we put boundaries on our diet when we're trying to work out to get in Miami shape. We do that. Do you put a boundary on technology? Do you put a boundary on how much you scroll? Put boundaries on every area of your life that might be causing you to feel like you have a complicated life. That includes technology. All right. So again, a simple life is a joyful life. A simple life is a beautiful life. A simple life is not a boring life, because normally a simple life is a drama-less life. Okay. But the only way you get there is by setting boundaries. I'll share this with you before I get into one reason why, or the first reason why one way people make life so hard. I'll share this with you. And I share it unapologetically, publicly again. I was having another conversation this past weekend with somebody. You said you're a lot more territorial, it seems like, than what you used to be. And the answer is yes, because I'm protecting my peace at all costs. Period. I don't care if you're a member of rehab or you ain't. I don't care if you're a family member or you're not. I don't care if you know me or you don't. If I have time for you, great. If I don't, I'll get to you when I can. That sounds very rude. And that sounds very curt. And that sounds very matter-of-factish. And that sounds very arrogant. Put whatever name on it you want to. Add selfish to the list. But part of living a peaceful life and a life that is not complicated and hard is setting boundaries in every area of your life. Because here's the reality. If I fall out dead tomorrow, y'all go find another pastor. If I find out dead tomorrow, y'all go hire somebody else at my job. Like, life will go on without you. And so we have to learn. I like that, Sonia. We have to learn how to set the tone in our lives, right? We set the tone with people, but do we set the tone in every area of our lives, to include social media, to include our inbox, to include the requests and the demands people try to put on us? No, you're not about to make my life harder than what it already is. I got enough stress. I'll get to you when I can, whenever that is. It might be 2 hours, it might be minutes, it might be 30 days. But life gonna go on. You're gonna be all right, and I'm gonna be all right too. Right? So we have to learn how to set boundaries in our lives. Now, I'm gonna give you 5 ways people make life very hard, and I'm gonna start with a way that's gonna bust your head wide open. So let me give you way number 1. All right. If you're tuned in, if you have not already, start liking this video, sharing this video, because it's about to get intense. I'm gonna just start with way number 1 and just go ahead and knock it in the box. All right. Way number 1. I'm going to give you 5 ways people make life so hard, and they don't have to. Here's way number 1. You ready? They practice something called self-sabotaging. This is going to be fun. They practice a term called self-sabotaging. SABOSABOTAGING. People make life harder for them than what it has to be because they practice something called self-sabotaging. What is self-sabotaging? That is when you literally get in your own way. That is when you literally get in your own way. Take Jesus out of this. And please take the devil out of this. For many of you, your biggest enemy is the person you sleep with every. And I ain't talking about your husband, your wife. I ain't talking about your spouse, your mate, or your sneaky link. Your number 1 enemy for most of you is the person you look at in the mirror every single day. It ain't the devil. It's not the devil. You self-sabotage your own process and your own success and your own peace by sometimes getting in your own way. How do we self-sabotage, Pastor Zeb? It's simple. We self-sabotage because sometimes we forget our worth. Sometimes we forget our value. Sometimes we bring to the table. Sometimes we forget what our capabilities are. And let me tell you something, and this is very important. I don't care how much anybody believes in you. Until you believe in you, it don't matter. And some of y'all are waiting on people to cheerlead you through the finish line. And let me tell y'all about Dr. Zeb. I'm tired of pushing people who don't believe in themselves. Uh-oh. Aren't you a pastor? Aren't that what you're supposed to do? To an extent. To an extent. You will run into people in your life who don't have the kind of faith that you have, who can't see in themselves what you see in them, and that's okay. Part of your calling, maybe your calling as a friend, your calling as a mother, your calling as a sister, your calling as a brother, your calling as a whatever your title is, part of your calling is pulling up people who can't see in themselves what they can't see in themselves. That's part of it. But let me tell you something. You shouldn't spend 90% of your time pulling up folks. If you spending 90% of your time pulling up people, then you out of balance. You out of balance. Because I'm here to tell you, of that 90% of the people you trying to pull up, I guarantee you, most of them have the talent and the abilities to be able to pull themselves up. But the reason they're not is because they are self-sabotaging their own selves. They can't see in themselves what is already there. They know the abilities are there, but they keep chopping themselves off at the knees. And y'all got to stop doing it. Stop doing it for people, and you got to force people. All of us got to learn how to get out of our own way. Get out your way. Because listen, baby, I can think you talented. I can think you smart. I can think you got what it takes to go back to school and finish a degree. I can think you got what it takes to start the business and create the business plan and to get donors and partners to invest in your vision. I can believe in that all day. But until you believe it, it don't matter. And some of y'all ain't further than what you are because you waiting on a cheerleader instead of finding the inner strength to go get it yourself. Say what I said. I meant what I said. This is gonna sound bad. Let me make sure I word this right, because some of y'all are hurting because the comments are coming slow. So y'all processing. I can tell. I can totally tell and sense it. Let me make sure I say this right. Dr. Zeb's not anti-encouragement. Bible says the Bible gives us proof that there is value in being connected to other people, right? That there's strength in numbers. There's strength in being connected to people who can push you and encourage you. The Bible encourages us to understand that. But the Bible also has a verse in there that I think is one of the most powerful and most profound verses And it's a story that is one of my favorite stories to teach and preach. And it is when David goes to Ziklag because the city has been burned down. He leaves the city to go to war. When he leaves, the army attacks his hometown, burns his city, takes all the men's wives, takes all of their properties, takes their children. David comes back with the men that he went to fight with. When he gets back, the city is burning. It's on fire. All of their property is taken. All of their wives are taken. All of their children are taken. They're not killed, but they're taken. And the land is a mess. The men that are with David are looking at David and they mad because they like, look, dude, we out here fighting with you. And when we left, the enemy came and took our wives, took our property, took all of this stuff. And they got so mad, watch this, that the very people that were supposed to be in the battle with David were ready to kill David. You know what David did? He didn't phone a friend. David didn't go to social media and beg somebody to give him a like or understand where he was coming from. The Bible says that David encouraged himself in the Lord. So there's encouragement that comes from your circle. But listen to me, y'all. There will come a day in your life where you got to find the inner strength to be able to encourage yourself. And until you can believe in yourself, I don't care how brilliant you are, how smart you are, and how many resources have been given to you or are at your disposal. If you don't believe in you, you ain't doing nothing but self-sabotaging. And some of you would be a whole lot further if you just learn how to believe in yourself. Because I'm going to tell y'all, a lot of us strong folk, we tired. I said it. We tired. I'm tired of having to encourage me, you, the partridge, their tree. At a certain point, if I've told you to start the business, if your friends have told you, you got the ability and the talent. Now listen, you got to be honest. Y'all stop gassing folk up. Stop gassing folk and tell them that they got the skills to do stuff and you know they ain't got the skills. That's just about as bad as y'all gassing people and telling people to go on American Idol and try out to sing and you know they can't sing. You need friends in your, the number one rule is you got to have people and friends in your circle that's going to be truthful with you. Let's just be real clear here, right? They got to be truthful with you. If you got a circle of friends, family, support system, mates, whatever, that can be honest with you, y'all listen to that honest feedback, take it. But I'm telling you, our strong people, we tired. I'm tired of telling talented people that they talented. You got to stop sabotaging yourself. I'm tired of telling skilled people that they got what it takes to go back to school and get the degree. I ain't going to tell you but about 2 times. By that 3rd time, I'm going to change the subject because I'm tired of telling you. Because you at that point, you're sabotaging yourself. I'm not going to tell you 10 times, go back to school because you got the smarts to handle it. I'm not going to tell you 10 times to go start the business because you have the smarts and the brilliance and the visionary thinking to do. I'm not going to tell you 10 times. Because when you get in the business of telling people that many times to go do what they should already know to do, at that point, it shifts from them self-sabotaging to you enabling. I'm going to help y'all. Some of the circles that you're in ain't pushing you, they enabling you. Are y'all all right? Y'all need a Band-Aid? Because it's quiet. Some of your circles ain't pushing you, they enabling you. Some of your circles ain't helping you, they enabling you. Nah, girl. Yeah, I know. He got 6 baby mamas. He got 6 kids, 6 baby mamas. He ain't got no job, but he going through some things, girl. You just stick with them, girl, because there's a reward in being loyal. Y'all ain't doing nothing but enabling folks. When you don't tell folk the truth about what they bring to the table and then push them to go do it, you enabling. Y'all stop. Y'all stop. Because you're not making it better and you're encouraging people to self-sabotage, right? If you know what you deserve, I want you to record this, y'all. Because y'all, listen, y'all have no idea what these folks cheer on. You better find, y'all know it's getting cold. So I'm telling y'all now, the relationship series is coming because it's getting cold, getting darker sooner, which means people disappearing. Y'all linking up, you're getting these relationship situationships, sneaky links are on the rise. All of this stuff is going on. So relationship is series is coming. But let me just go ahead and say this really quickly. You'd be surprised at what people will encourage you to do or to put up with in the name of enabling you to stay where you are. I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it slow. I wish I could say it in Spanish. You'd be surprised at what people would encourage you to do or to put up with in the name of enabling you to stay where you are. Because the comments are slow. You'd be surprised at what people would encourage you to do or encourage you to put up with in the name of enabling you to stay where you are. Yeah, it's 2021, and some of y'all rascals are still encouraging folk to stay with people like that. Yeah, girl, he gonna change. Yeah, man, she gonna change. I know her body count high, but she was going through something. She's still going through something from what the street's saying. You need a friend that can say, yeah, I know she was going through something, but the streets are saying she's still going through something. And you got all of this you bring into the table, go find somebody else. Oh, y'all quiet. If it's up, then it's stuck. You would be surprised at what people encourage you to do or what people encourage you to stay in the name of enabling you. No, Nick, don't try to take up for folk. I ain't talking about hearsay. Folk got receipts. This social media age, y'all got screenshots. Y'all not ready for this relationship series. It's going to be messy. It's going to be a bloodbath. Y'all got screenshots. You got phone logs. Some of y'all then called cheaters. You got every receipt in the book. And here you are. Nah, child, she's going through something. That's not what they in right now. Okay. The point that I wanted y'all to record, because I'm getting sidetracked. If you know you deserve what you want or what comes your way, move out of your way. It's going to sound like a tongue twister. I'm going to say it 4 or 5 times so y'all get it. Record this. If you know you deserve what you want or what comes your way, move out of your own way. If you know you deserve what you want or what comes your way, move out of your own way. If you know you deserve what you want or what comes your way, move out of your own way. Does that make sense? Move out of your own way. Now I'm going to help y'all because I hear you. Well, Dr. Zeb, you got a PhD, you got a advanced degree. You talk about being hard on yourself and having high standards. I just got high standards. Dr. Zeb, and if it don't feel right, then I don't go with it. Or, I got just high standards. I got to make sure that it's where I needed to be in order for me to do what I need to do. And so let me tell y'all something. You ready for something that's going to knock your socks off? There's a fine line between having high standards and having high goals and self-sabotaging. Because here's what I've discovered. You ready? Being too hard on yourself is a form of avoidance. I'm going to say this again. Being too hard on yourself is a form of avoidance. I'm going to explain. We talk about self-sabotaging tonight. Being too hard on yourself, form of avoidance. Many of you are the things you could be doing in the name of being hard on yourself. Well, and let me give you an easy example. I would go back to school and get the degree, But I don't think, I think I've got too many kids and I don't make enough money to be able to manage the kids and work and be able to go back to school. Bull crap. Some of you are being too hard on yourself on purpose to avoid making a decision. And let me tell you something. When you are so hard on yourself that you become indecisive, when you are so hard on yourself to where you decide to sit that sitting still is better than moving forward, you are operating in avoidance. Boy, the chat line is silent tonight. I don't see no hearts nowhere. Y'all quiet. And some of y'all call that being hard. Oh, but that's it. I just got coach said, I just got high standards, and if it ain't right, I can't move. If it ain't in place, then I can't. Let me tell you something. If you waiting on circumstances to be perfect for you to move forward and make a decision, some of y'all will never move. Some of y'all waiting on the right circumstances to lead that relationship. And let me tell you something. He gonna act right every Thanksgiving. She gonna act right every Christmas. She gonna act right every Valentine's Day. She gonna act right when the weather change. He gonna act right when the weather change. Look, that's the playbook. You waiting on the right set of circumstances. It'll never be a perfect set of circumstances for you to make a decision. Make a decision. Because when you wait for the right set of circumstances to make a decision, you are operating in avoidance. And the reality is, many of you are avoiding the decisions you should make. Oh, tax season. Let me add that. Thank you, Ms. Shaw. And tax season. Everybody straighten up in February. If you're fortunate enough to get a refund, everybody straighten up around that time. Let me tell you something. If you avoided making a decision in the name of the right circumstances, you're doing nothing but operating in avoidance. You ain't fooling nobody. And avoidance is a form of self-sabotage. Y'all mad? I don't care. Some of you are avoiding making decisions in the name of superficial stuff, and you're stuck where you are, and your life has become so much more complicated. And you're calling it goal setting. You're calling it being a high achiever. You're calling it waiting for the right circumstances. I'm going to move when the right things happen. I'm going to start the business when the right capital comes. I'm going to pursue the relationship I really like when all the boxes check and when everything perfectly aligns. You're making excuses. You scared. Just say that. And I told you Sunday, if you're scared, you can get in here. Get in my pocket. You're scared. If you're scared, say you're scared. But don't point to circumstances and circumstances that sometimes will never be perfect. If you're waiting on perfect circumstances to make a decision, if you're waiting on perfect circumstances to take the leap of faith and duplicate the business you've already succeeded in, it's called avoidance. And avoidance is another form of self-sabotage. That's simple. And so some of you are in that vein because when you really act like you deserve what comes your way, or when you really act like you deserve the opportunities that are presented to you, even if the circumstances aren't perfect, you don't have the fear of pursuing them because you know what you deserve. You're not going to self-sabotage yourself. Let me tell you something. I may have to deal with external circumstances. I may have to deal with external conditions and people that I can't control. Well, let me tell you something that I ain't going to do. What I ain't going to do is allow myself to sabotage myself and talk myself out of what I want. Y'all might try to talk me out of what I want. Family might try to talk me out of what I want. Friends might try to talk me out of what I want. Whatever's might try to talk me out of what I want or what I want to pursue or what I want to do. But let me tell you what I ain't going to do. I'll never talk myself out of it. Because when you do, sabotaging yourself. When you allow the noise of the external environment to get so loud that it calls you to start making excuses and say that, well, I'll just wait a year, or I'll just a little bit better. Let me wait till this, let me just wait till this happens before I go do this. Or, let me wait till I get my money up before I try to go get a passport so I can get on a plane and get out of the country for the first time. Y'all stop making excuses. You're just making excuses. And avoidance is self-sabotaging. So we make things hard in our lives, number one, when we self-sabotage ourselves. When we put ourselves in the corner and we make things more difficult than what they really have to be. When we don't believe in ourselves and we don't believe we deserve the things that we are capable of doing. And even if you don't have all the answers, listen, I started a business before. I know what that's like. I know it's like, I was telling a student today, I know what it's like to start a business and not have the answers. But the beautiful thing about starting a business and not having all the answers is the learning and the growth that takes place along the way. Because I'm telling you, you will never start a business and understand the ins and outs of it from day one and think that's going to happen as soon as you start. It just doesn't work that way. And if you're waiting on that day, you'll never start it. If you're waiting on the day to wake up, let me give y'all another example because it's dinner time, at least for me. It's late, but I ain't ate today. If you're waiting on the day to wake up in the morning where you're going to feel like working out, you don't feel like giving up carbs and everything else that you eat. If you're waiting on the perfect day to feel like working out and to feel like changing your meal, you'll never start working out. You'll never change your diet. You'll never change your eating habits. It'll never happen. You know why? Because there's no such a thing as a perfect time. And when you look for a perfect time and you use perfect timing as a reason, you're making an excuse because you're self-sabotaging. All you're doing is avoiding the work. Some of you are avoiding the work. You don't want business because you're avoiding work. Y'all don't like this. Work that comes with starting a business. What's up, Fitz? It's good to see you, man. You're avoiding starting the business because you starts the business. You started school because you're avoiding the work that comes with writing papers every single day. You ain't left the relationship because you're avoiding the work that comes with dealing with pain. I said that. Some of you stuck in relationships that mentally, physically, you left years ago, but you still in it. Why? Because you're welcome. Things, oh man, I need to be seeing you soon. We'll talk for sure. That's why you're avoiding the work. You're not making hard decisions because you don't deal with the repercussions of the decision. That's what it is. Stop. Feel the noise with all this. It's got to be perfect. Child, when I get my taxes and I get enough money to go ahead and get my own place, then I'm going to move out and, we'll go out separate. No, if you tired for real, you go and deal with that now. Stop avoiding it. And just be truthful and say, you know what, Dr. Zeb, I would leave, but I'm afraid of the pain on the other side. I can deal with that better. Be honest. Some of y'all are avoiding the work and you ain't doing nothing but fooling yourself. You ain't made some changes in your life because you are avoiding the work. You're avoiding the repercussions that come with change. You're avoiding all of the circumstances, the obstacles with yourself. Because I'm telling you, avoid is a form of self-sabotage. And anytime you are trying to avoid the obvious and trying to avoid the of making change, when you have the ability, when you have the skill, when you have to make the changes and go through what it is. Again, I shared it again Sunday because it's the example I can think of. And I'll close. I jumped out of that plane and I saw 15,000 bracket. I had to remember everything else I went that year. Man, that ain't nothing. I got a parachute. No, my flight instructor got a parachute. Got a backup parachute to the parachute. That parachute is on an automatic. So if he black out, it's going to open up. I ain't worried about this parachute, man. Let's go. We was out of there. Y'all stop telling yourself the lies to stay in the position and stop making life harder for yourself because you're telling yourself lies instead of avoiding the things that you have to face instead of just manning up, womaning up, dealing with it. Deal with it. You want to change jobs? You know it's going to be hard. You might have to take a couple of steps back. You may have to scale back on the Sunday brunches and the every other weekend in Miami. Do that in the name of pursuing your passion. So you can be in a career that not only pays you eventually, but also satisfies you. Stop avoiding the pain of having to sacrifice and not being able to spend what you want to spend. You see the relationship out there that you want? It's perfect for you. It's ideal. He perfect for you. She perfect for you. They fit you like a glove, but they ain't what everybody else. But they ain't harming you. They're strong spiritually. They're strong emotionally. They are balanced people. They check all the right boxes. Go do it. What you scared of? Well, Pastor, they gonna say this. They gonna think this. Okay, and some of y'all ain't moved because you are avoiding the repercussions of making a decision. And anytime you avoid the repercussions of making a decision, you have taken your life and you have made it harder than what it needs to be. I'm done. Y'all, let me pray for you. Because it's quiet. Like the comments have slowed. The numbers are holding pretty steady. Let me pray for y'all. Y'all all right? I'll pray for you. I told you this is going to be a powerful series. And next week it's going even deeper because I'm going to talk about the second way next week that people make their life harder. And I'm going to pull out a psychological concept that is going to rock your world. And most people are guilty of doing this. And it has everything to do with your childhood and how you have moved beyond your childhood and how it's affecting you today. And it is a reason why many of you have made your life 10 times harder than what it is. It's going to rock your world. Next Tuesday going to be the bomb. Listen, y'all, can I pray for y'all? I feel like I need to pray. Can I pray for y'all every single morning? 4:15, 4:30 at the latest. I'm up. Pray over your prayer request. And I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I know this message was hard. I hope I didn't trigger anybody tonight, but I hope I challenged you. I hope I challenged you with this message to reevaluate the things that are really difficult in your life and the things that really are not. Because again, this pains we bear. We all make things in our lives difficult that really are not that difficult, that really aren't that challenging. It just requires a little bit of courage and you not avoiding the circumstances that come with or the repercussions that come with change. Right? I want to pray for you. If you got a prayer request, I want you to put it in the comments right now. If you got a prayer request that see, maybe whether you're watching the replay, you can email your prayer request at rehabcc.org. That's info@rehabcc. And that prayer request will come to me and I can pray over your prayer request. I will pray over your prayer request quickly. I'm giving you 30 seconds because we've run a little bit over tonight. I want you to type your prayer request in the comments. I want you to know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your family. I'm praying for your situation. I'm praying for your life. I'm starting to see some prayer requests on Instagram. Good. Keep them coming. Facebook, YouTube, where are you? Type in your prayer request. I want you to know that God wants to give you the strength, real change in your life. He wants to give you the strength to live an easy life. But people think you are, because you're living an easy stress, not a heavy stress life, that it just happened out of, osmosis. No, you made a decision to not avoid some circumstances, to not avoid some difficult decisions, to not avoid some repercussions of some very, very difficult decisions. And now many of us are living the fruits of that because we went through a hard season. I'm telling you, you want to live an easy life, you got to be willing to bear a difficult season. You have to. It's unavoidable. That is a tough decision, is having the strength necessary to make a decision that shifts you out of everyday struggle to peace. I sleep well at night. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I woke up early something this morning. I had a hard time going back to sleep. Every now and then things will be on my mind that'll come up. But I'm telling you, it's a peaceful life when you're not avoiding stuff. You're making the necessary decisions. You're going after what makes you happy. You're going after what aligns with your purpose. Now you're on the easy street and you let stuff get in where they can fit in. I'm praying for that for many of you that are watching live or those of you that are tuned in on the replay. Come on, y'all. I'm seeing more prayer requests. Quickly, you to type your prayer request in the comments right now. We're going to pick up. I'm going to right here, start here. We're going to pick up here next week. And I cannot wait to teach this next week. It's going to be powerful. Way number 2 is going to be good. And I knew this was going to turn into a series, and I hope it's blessed you. All right. Listen, connect your hands like this as a sign, symbol of faith. You're to touch and agree with me right now. As a sign, symbol of faith, as if we are next to each other holding hands. I want you to clasp your hands like this, and let's prepare to pray a prayer of faith for every prayer request that's come across this line. All right, good. They're still coming. If you're still typing them, type them in. After you finish, connect your hands like this as if we're holding hands and touching and agreeing. Are you ready? Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you tonight for this message. Thank you for this time, the gathering you've given us. I pray that something was said tonight that has seriously challenged somebody. That has seriously challenged someone to take a couple of steps back, reevaluate their lives, reevaluate the things concerning their lives, but more than that, reevaluate the value that they place on their own lives, to see their lives for the valuable life that it is, so that we might all make decisions and not avoid them, so that we might all make decisions regardless of situation, ramification, repercussion. We might all make decisions that align with the people of our lives, that align boundaries that we desire for our lives, that we need for our lives to be everything that you want them to be and everything that we desire them. God, I pray now a special prayer for every prayer request that's come across this line. You see the prayers of your people that are in the chat area. You see the prayers that have come through the email inbox. I pray now and lift these prayers up to you, that you would answer those prayers, that you would make ways for your people as only you can, that you would open doors as only you can, that you would heal bodies as only you can, that you would fix conditions as only you can. Be the way maker, be the miracle worker that you are. I pray that you would come down and that you would touch the mental and the emotional, the financial, spiritual conditions of your people, that you would allow this week to be a week really filled with miracles and overflow, breakthroughs, open doors, new opportunities. But more than that, God, peaceful hearts and peaceful minds. Give your people rest this week. Allow your people to sleep, rest in a stress-free way as only you can. Let this be a stressless life, a stressless week, a week that doesn't have a lot of drama and animosity and anxiety, but a week that is filled with peace, because we understand that you are the God that gives us peace greater than our own understanding. Do it for your people this week, so that, God, we will be able to return on Sunday and say that you've been with us, that you've kept us, and that you've made a way for us. We thank you for these things. We count them done in Jesus' name. Amen. Do me a favor. If you type in the comments right now, it is so, quickly. I want you to do it quickly. If you prayed that prayer of faith with me, I want you to type in the comments right now, it is so. It is so. Every time you say amen at the end of a prayer, all you're saying is it is so. Amen simply means is. So every time you say amen after you pray over your body or pray over your children or your family, you're saying, God, it is so. I believe it to be done. I want you to type it in the comments now. It is so. It is so. God's making ways. God's opening doors. God's meeting needs in your life. And he's doing it because we've touched and agreed tonight. And we believe he's going to do it as only he can. Listen, I want to challenge you really quickly to give. This ministry, if this broadcast has been a blessing to you, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I want to challenge you to give. You can be a blessing to us one of 3 ways. You can give via CashAPP at $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, and choose online giving. Or you can text REHABWORKS to 88202 and right to your cell phone. You can give from there. Many of you don't know, our ministry has fed and clothed over 20,000 people in less than 7 years, and we have less than 250 members. Why? because we believe in the power of giving. No loans, no grants, no millionaire ballers, none of that stuff, but just people that understand the importance of church being more than just a place you come to every week, but also begin a phase re-entry back into the building. We want to continue to rely on your generous giving to position us to continue to do the things that we do. So again, I want to challenge you to give. You give via Cash App, $REHABCCGIVE. That's $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, or you can give through phone by texting word REHABWORKS, 2 words as 1 word, Rehab to 88202. That's REHABWORKS to 88202, and right to your cell phone. You'll see a prompt. Click on that link, and you can give right from your cell phone. And I promise you, God will bless you. I want to challenge you tonight, not only to give your tithes, if it's your opportunity to tithe, you don't have a ministry to tithe into, I want to challenge you to do that. But I also want to challenge you to give a special seed tonight, a special offering into this word. And I promise you, God's going to bless you. You still can't beat God's giving, regardless of how hard you try. And the more you give, the more He gives back to you. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaking. If this message was powerful for you, I want to challenge you to give tonight in a special way. And we know that God's going to bless you for that. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I've run way over tonight. I did not mean to run this far over, but it is certainly my hope that this message, this ministry has been a blessing to you. I want to challenge you to like this video, share this video, share this feed, subscribe to our channels, go back and watch the replay, tag 5 people, tell them to tune in, and then make plans to meet me this Sunday, 9:08 a.m. sharp, for another very powerful message. We're going to continue our series. If you're scared, get in my pocket. We're going to be in part 2 of that on Sunday, talking about the story of David and Goliath. What a powerful time we had Sunday. We'll be back with part 2 on this Sunday, 9:08 sharp, 9:08 Eastern Standard Time, right here at the Rehab Christian Center. Listen, I love you guys. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. I love you. I love your family. And have a fantastic week. Have a safe week. And we will look forward to seeing you this Sunday at 9:08 a.m. All right. I love you guys. Praying for y'all, rooting for you. Have a blessed week. Peace and blessings.
For watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by Cash App at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encourage, enlighten, and empower you to be better. Please tune in Sunday at 9:08 a.m. for our Sunday morning experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.